to encourage you to be your best so that maybe you could also be a saint. I mean, who knows where saints come from? You know, it comes from the willingness to give up your pride and be more humble and be more appreciating. And so it's taken away a lot of my anger. And I didn't know, because I kept saying I was depressed. I kept saying to myself, okay, you're just depressed. You're depressed. No, I don't think that's totally it. I think I'm angry. And anger, that's a hot, hot emotion. And it's hard to carry. And I've been carrying it for years because I feel like people have done me wrong. But that's me being egocentric. That's my ego. And that's what you have to let go of, is this ego. It's not all about me. I guess I've been focused as if, like, I didn't get this when I was a child. Nobody gave me that. I didn't, blah, blah, blah. And that's a bad feeling. Whether it's right or wrong, it's still a very negative energy. And I don't want that bad energy anymore. I want the good energy to start flowing in through my chakras and clear all this terrible energy that I've been carrying with me. The anger that's made me be so mean to myself for so long because I'm angry. So, and there's hardly anything that can fix that. You got to do some really hard work. And I think that the yoga thing has helped. And also, like I said, when I go to church, I can hold the rosary. It's very, very quiet inside the church. And so it's just a very contemplative state. And they state very good principles. And so one of them, for instance, was yesterday. So Monday was All Saints Day, and yesterday was All Souls Day. So it's to remember the dead. It's like the Day of the Dead. And so you can go and put down pictures on the altar of people that have passed away that you want to honor and remember. And you pray and meditate on that. And they also, while you're there, they say prayers for the whole world, for everything. Like, they pray for war zones. They pray for the unborn children. They pray for people that have passed away. And there's, for different times of the year, there's different prayers. But when you say those things, like, it's like a chant. So if you can take a long walk and say it to yourself, and I think it just puts you in a state of meditation, but also in a better state of mind to be kinder and more holy to other people, and realize that these other people out here are struggling and they can be hateful, but we can go above and beyond it, and we can be better than that. We don't have to shake our fists back. Like when I'm in the traffic and people are, flying the bird and the California howdy. I don't know, like I said, it must be hard commuting through Los Angeles. No wonder everyone's mad. What was interesting, a lady who was talking about the nervous system, because she said everyone keeps saying that it's your brain that's causing the problem, but it's not. She said it's your nervous system. It's the fight or flight. It's your vagus nerve. I think I've been a long time in the state of fight and anger and fight. I just noticed I'm becoming more peaceful, more accepting of what the circumstances really are. And whereas before I was just, angry, like, you did this to me, you did that to me. Like, I'm all in myself, like my ego and my own damn problems. Frowning, angry, thinking of being worked to death, thinking I'm being mistreated, thinking I'm being, it's all about me. Me. And it isn't about me. The bigger picture is it's not about me. And to be peaceful, I have to turn that around. And if you don't do the work, like the steps, the spirituality aspect of it, so you'll still be a fucking angry person. You'll be resentful still. All that same shit will still be there. And so in other words, you're not really healed because you're not doing the spiritual work that's necessary. So I thought that was an interesting take on it, because I never realized that in fact it is true. I held quite a lot of resentment against quite a few people for the way that they treated me. But in church, they'll say, for instance, to pray for those people. And strangely, I don't know, like, they may even have a spiritual awakening because of your prayers towards them. You know what I mean? Like, they may actually improve their behavior. Like, I was hating on my neighbor so much. I hate her. Like a baby. I'm like, I hate her. I hate her. I hate her. You know what I mean? Like, I was just like childish. Like, I'm like, I want to burn it down. Just angry because of like the way she acts. Like, she called my dog a rat. Like, she would never welcome me. She was always mean to me. And my behavior was not very mature. It was not like the Buddha at all. It was not like anyone that had the lotus or anyone with superior thinking. It was like someone who would be angry and pound on the floor, So I don't want to be that person anymore. But, I mean, I have had a lot of people do me dirty. But that doesn't mean that I have to live in that as the result of that, because it's resentment. And what the resentment leads to is anger. And what the anger leads to is a lot of self-abusive behavior. Like, I might as well just take a belt and beat myself, because it's so painful when you're in that state of mind. And, I've ruined a lot of relationships because of anger, because of the way I talk to people, because once the anger starts, I can't control it. And I can only say that the brain, body, Tai Chi yoga, and the church has kind of calmed me down and brought me back somewhat to rationality. It doesn't mean your mind is healthy, because you still hold that anger and resentment. Like, I was even hating on my grandmother, because I loved one of my grandmothers, but then she died, so I kind of went away from God at that point, because I just was like, why have you done this to me, God? Why did you do this to me? And again, life and death are going to happen. We have to accept death because it's inevitable. And God leaves us free choice as well. They talk about that at church. It's like the choices that we make, He just lets us out in the soup, and we just have to figure it out. And, I was just a hard worker. That's it. But I wasn't any way morally superior to anyone. I lost my way, and I was hating on God, and I was hating on everybody. And just saying, all I am is I'm a rat on a wheel, just running round and round. For what? To buy, like, my car, or to put gasoline in the car, or to... And I was just getting angrier and angrier at the way I felt I've been mistreated. So, at this point, I just don't want to do that anymore. Like I said, to be fully and truly healed, I have to embrace some other ideas. I have to open my mind, and I have to open my capacity to love and be kind, because I don't want to die like that. Because even though, there's more work to be done, because I was still angry and hating on life, hating on people, wishing that God would call me home, but I wouldn't do that myself. But hating on the fact that so many things that I cared about have been taken away from me, so many things that have caused me agony and grief, so many broken relationships that it's hard to apologize to people, because I don't really know how to, and plus I don't know if it would hurt them more. And then they just look in the mirror and say, I'm not notable, I'm not worthy. And it's just really bad thinking. So I think just the spirituality of it, and like, when I think about religion, God is just God. It doesn't matter. It's just finding like a little peaceful place that you can go and meditate and pray. And it was kind of interesting. I went to a rosary prayer to dedicate a new statue at the church. There was probably only about 10 parishioners there. It was a Saturday. I just held my rosary, and I just felt this sense of peace. And for me, I'm not a very peaceful person, so that's saying a lot. because normally I'm like chaos running amok, just all over the place. Can't sit down, can't settle down, can't have peace, can't make sense of anything. Like, it's just a mess. So, and I've always been a little bit hyperactive. I can't seem to get calm. I can't seem to have peace. They said it was like adrenal failure. Like, I was having adrenal failure from basically, I think, too much cortisol. Probably from too much stress. Just one thing after the other, and you just internalize it, and then you can never fix it because you just tuck it away. It started very early, but then we could all say things like that, possibly, that we've all been traumatized. So I don't want to go on and on about me, but I'm trying to just have a spiritual awakening and try to heal what's broken. And there's a hell of a lot broken, a hell of a lot. I can think of all these funny words now, and I should probably just journal it, but I was not in touch with who I am as a person. I didn't know the words. I called it depression, but it was actually angry, vindictive, hateful at times, selfish, greedy, jealous, envious, and all these other things. It just is, for your body, it's not sustainable. Look at how pretty the floor is now. Isn't that pretty? So yeah, they're working away, but oh gosh, it's so much better now. Look at it. Remember that guy? Yeah, Harley. Talk to Harley. Oh my God, he's so adorable. But yeah, I mean, like I said, it's going to require some work, and then also I got a psychiatrist or a psychologist, or I don't know what you call it, and I talk to her, every now and then. And last year, whole legal battle and all that anxiety and anguish I was feeling because of that, and wasn't handling things well. Yeah, you just feel like you can't win. But having said that, you got to reframe the picture, and everything takes a lot of work. And things had gone on so long with me, negative thought processes and things like that it just almost got to the point where you feel like you just can't recover from it. Like, you just don't want to. You just want to lie down like the Indians and quietly die. But you got to keep getting up and moving about, and you got to try. It's been a lot of work, though. I just can't believe what a disaster everything could become. I mean, that's my word, disaster. It makes me kind of smile and want to laugh at the same time. It's like, and I didn't even know what boundaries were until I did a little psychological study on it, because I know science, okay? I'm a good reader, and I know science, and I've read many, many, many books, but I was not good about the psychology of it. And because I feel bad about myself, I tend to spend money to kind of fill that hole up. But that hole is like the Grand Canyon, and it can't be filled that way. It just can't. I thought, I could buy this item or that item, and, wasn't mindful about it the way that a person should be mindful about things. It was a very unholy life, I never said no to anybody about anything, because I thought being a good person meant being a yes man. Like, okay, if someone says, hey, can you do this? I'd go, okay. Can you do that? Okay. And then at the office, the emotional severity of working what I do, the way people would kind of unload on me as if I was a bartender. They cry, and I just thought it was work, but it wasn't just the work, it was me. And I had to take responsibility for that. But I wasn't at the time. I was blaming everyone else. And also, that's part of why, my relationship with Theo ended as well, for a multitude of reasons. But also, just like I said, I don't want to call it selfishness, but if you just don't have a real good self-image, are incredibly, irresponsible, just running amok, And that's kind of where I think I was. And I just don't want to be that way anymore. I want to be blessed. I just want to lead a different life. I just want to be more mindful. I want to be more kind. I want to be more considerate. I want to be, less egotistical. Starts in childhood, and I wouldn't say my parents were bad parents, and that's because that wouldn't be a fair or nice thing to say. But parents back in those days didn't acquiesce to the children like they do now. They wouldn't be like, oh, what do you want, Johnny? What do you want for dinner? My childhood, they just threw me outside and said, and I didn't like the sun. It was hard on me. I did not want to be out there. I wanted to be inside reading, but no one catered to anything that I wanted. But this is just me singing roses and whatever on the violin, hearts, and I don't know what you call it when you just whine about stuff. It all means something. It's coming from something, and I even started to become more aware of my body. Now I kind of say, oh God, my right toe is really hurting. It means that I need to move. Like I'm wanting some changes in my life. I don't want to be where I am anymore. Like I never even paid attention to my body in the past. I just said, something hurts, take a Motrin. It's just mindless. Like my whole life has been filled with mindlessness. I'm not a mindful person. I'm becoming that way. I'm becoming a mindful person. But anyway, yeah. That will make me a good politician. I could be. I help a lot of people because I'll tell you, I've got my ears wide open and my head to the ground. But it is a political quagmire, though. I think it's hard to achieve or accomplish anything in this world because everyone is so... Look what they did. They broke my Halloween cat doing the construction. I'm going to try to put him back together. I should just flip the screen like any normal person would do, like that knows technology. Here, I'm going to flip the screen. There we go. Now you'll be able to see things better.